Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the Wonder Kid. A warm welcome to this video. As always guys, today's video is going to be another great backtesting one. So guys, today we are going to be backtesting euro dollar, and we're going to be backtesting the month January 2020. Now EU or euro dollar is a pair that I haven't backtested in a little while, so I'm going to jump back to it today with you guys, and you guys are going to see how I like to enter positions with this pair. Now, relative to like my last backtesting video, which is with NJ, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, with that pair, I typically enter a lot more positions because it bodes with my strategy quite well. But with euro dollar, I have to be a little bit more patient and see what kind of opportunities occur. And it is a pair, especially euro pairs in general, that I trade. I am a little bit more patient because I wait for very, very high probability opportunities. And I'll show you what I mean today in that, if we have any in January 2020. So guys, let's jump on the charts here. As you can see, I have brought up the chart of euro dollar, and we have just entered January 2020. I'm just going to make sure that I've got my horizontal line. Yeah, I've got that for February. Okay, so guys, let's see what we can find for this month. So guys, what I can see here is that we've got some ascending correction over here, which is completely fine as we entered into January. But let's see how we go. Let's see what happens next. At the moment, I'm not looking at any positions. I can see that we kind of broke through this kind of support resistance level over here. But anyway, I'm not seeing any positions. I can see that we're moving up with quite a bit of momentum and down. So for me, I'm expecting a bit more of a range when you see that price action. But most times actually, well, not most times, sometimes we actually see a little bit of a range here and then we start to push down. So that's typical of this pair when you see this kind of price action. So let's get straight into it and see what happens next. Right, so you can see we start to push down. You can see we formed a large wick here, so I'm not looking to enter anything. Okay, we've started to see quite a bit of commitment. So for me, would I be interested? I wouldn't be interested just yet. I can see, to be honest, for me, we are coming out of a range here. Okay, so for me, we're just pushed out. So I want to see a little bit more of a commitment. If we see a little bit of a retrace and a push down, I'll be happy to get involved in a retrace here. But for me, nothing just yet. We are seeing some good commitment. We can see we've got a very nice close here. But anyway, let's continue to see what happens. All right, we've retraced. Okay, we can see that we are pulling up back with a bit of momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if this pushes straight up because typically with a candle like this, a retrace candle like that, and a second candle like this, we can see a nice push up. But again, it doesn't have to do that. But for me, I wouldn't be putting on any orders. So let's continue. Right, okay, we had a really strong push down. And we broke with a pretty long wick. So for me, I'm still not looking to enter any positions. Not with a wick this size on this pair. Let's continue. And there you go. As you can see, we had this massive candle. So you guys saw that typically with a pair such as NJ, in a position like this, I probably would have entered on a continuation here. I probably would have put an order somewhere about here. But with this pair, again, like I always say, like you have to do some naked charting to see how this pair reacts. Like with a wick like that, I'm not looking to enter. And as you would have seen, yes, we've just been straight tagged out. So that's exactly why. So I'm sitting on my hands, being patient, not seeing anything. We can see that we're basically going sideways currently. Nothing doing at the moment. What am I seeing here? Nothing again. To be honest, we can see that because of this price action here, these Marubozu side by side, that tells us essentially price is not going to go anywhere. You can see it's gone down, up, down. So for me, we're predicting this kind of range in between here. And you can see we've started to do that here. But one of the things I'm noticing here, guys, is that look, you can see as we are in this little, like, how can I put this? This little choppy price action. Can you see, guys? We're trying to push up each candle. We're pushing up from this candle with a wick. Pushing up from that candle with a wick. You can see we're trying to push up. So to me, there is not that much momentum to the downside. So I'm expecting a move down. But again, it doesn't have to do that. But based on that price action, we are, well, for me personally, I'm seeing a possible push down. And there you go, you got that, there you go. So we've got that push down. Again, not looking for any positions. You can see we're kind of quite corrective, to be honest. Not seeing any like any absolute positions for me to enter. I'm not seeing great high probability opportunities yet. So I'm going to continue and see what happens. Like I said before, this is a pair that I like to be a bit more patient with. So we may or may not get opportunities. But again, this is very important for you, us traders. Sit on your hands and be patient and just wait for the right opportunity. All right, we are seeing quite a bit of momentum down as I was predicting. We've got a wick here So let's see what happens next. And we are still continuing to push down with a wick. Pretty large retracement. We can see that we've got a long wick here, fine. And we've pushed up again. Okay, so for me, again, I'm starting to see this V here, right? So again, like I say, with a pair like this, it's not uncommon to see a V like this, and then we have this kind of move like this, and then we push up. So yeah, let's see if we do something similar like that. Okay, we have started to push up again. Look, we're seeing that V, this kind of V for volatility. So there's nothing I want to enter in here. Okay, we've pushed up, formed a large wick, starting to pull down a bit. So again, like I said before, we probably, well, from based on this price action here, and especially the way these three candles were pulling up, like I said, I'm predicting this kind of movement and then a push up, and that is just common with this pair. Let's see what happens. Oh, great. Okay, so there you go. You can see that, right? We can predict that from that. And again, the reason why I know this in particular is because I just do, like I said before, naked chart work. Essentially, I go through the pair, draw, and just try and see the common movement. So like I say, you can always do this with any pair. If I bring it back here, again, just look at a pair, like just its candlesticks, and just quickly just draw through it like this. Just draw through it like this and just try and see the kind of generic movements it has, right? So like I say before, with this kind of V shape, it's typical to have that behavior. So anyway, guys, we've pushed up with quite a bit of momentum, which is really nice to see. But let's see if we have any opportunities. Right, we started to push down again. So for me, I'm not going to be looking at any opportunities. Again, this kind of reaction to this push up is telling me, again, now we're actually probably more likely to go down. So it doesn't have to do that, but let's see what happens. Right, we are starting to range a bit, pulling down a bit, pulling down, and we have started to go down. So again, guys, like I said before, it was essentially the inverse of this. So we had this V, then we had the range and a push up. And again, the inverse of that was essentially this. We had this V down, a little bit of a range and a push down, right? So that is what is happening there. So we're breaking, what I can see here, we've broken this kind of, let's say, support level with quite a bit of momentum. Then we produced a large wick here. So I want to see what happens next. Again, still not looking for any opportunities. Essentially, you can see, guys, for me, as a trend trader, we've not really seen any trend. You can see that we've come up in this kind of correction, come down in this kind of correction, volatility, come up, come down. Like this to me, is there any like significance for me to get in here? No, there's nothing. So for me, sitting on my hands, it is quite rangy for me. So nothing whatsoever. Right, let's continue. Right, like I said, we've broken with quite a bit of momentum. And I'm looking here, this is interesting. So we've got two candles here producing wicks to the upside. So I will be looking for a little continuation depending on what happens next. And what I mean by that is a little flag, right? Right, okay, so for me, I would actually be looking to enter position here. Now, the reason being is what I can see here, guys, is that we've got this kind of, let's say we've got this kind of zone here that's being tested, right? Let's put it like there. Again, it can be thick, it can be thin. You guys can draw it how you want. But for me, the way that price was approaching this zone, it kind of approached it very we didn't have the momentum like we had over here. You can see, guys, in this push down, we had quite a bit of momentum pulling up. Same with this, push up, and then quite a bit of momentum pulling down, right? Now here, can we see, if I take this, clear this up, can you see that we had the momentum down, but with these candles, we're not seeing a lot of momentum back up. And for me, this is looking like a pretty nice flag. So for me, I'd actually enter a position right here. So what is this? So this is actually, yeah, so this is 10 p.m. So yeah, a position would be fine here. I would enter, this is a market execution order for me. So I'd have entered right at this time. So this would be 11 p.m. and we're going to see what happens. Again, it can take me out, it may do, but again, it fits my plan. So let's see what happens. All right, we have been taken out. So that's completely fine. This completely fits my plan. So I would have taken a full 1% loss here. Not a problem at all. So I'm just going to log that in. Right, guys, so I've logged that in. So that was a 1% loss, completely fine. That fit my plan. We could see that we were hitting that zone with not much momentum, but you can see we've kind of trickled up. So anyway, let's see and continue what is going to happen next. So we're trickling around. Okay, we started to push down. Right, I'm just going to check the lows with this. This is interesting. Okay, this is all one continuous push. So essentially we've got this kind of level here. Just going to draw that quickly and we're pushing through it. I know that's a really dodgy level, guys, but yeah, we are pushing through it with quite a bit of momentum, which is fair enough. And let's see what happens. Right, we produced a wick, started to retrace quite a bit. Okay, so I'm not looking for any positions just yet. I know we've got a nice wick to the upside over here, but again, for me, nothing doing. I'm not seeing any nice patterns or anything that fits my strategy personally. Right, we broke a low here. Right, looks like we are trying to push down, cannot be sustained. Right, for me, I would be looking for a position somewhere here, but actually no, I wouldn't. But what I can see, guys, is that with this price action, can you see that we've come and broke down with wicks, and then we've broken the candle's low here with a wick, broken the low with a wick. We can see we're really running out of steam. So essentially the sellers in the market here are really running out. So it's more likely that we go up. I've not seen any nice, clear, like push up yet. For me, this is not enough of a push on this pair. So to me, with that, we probably still will do this, even though with this kind of behavior, we do expect to push up. But because of that lack of a push here, I'm still expecting a move down. So I'm not seeing that much commitment. So let's see what happens if I'm right. Right, guys, you can see we did push back down, right? And that was because there was not much commitment here. So again, now we started to range. As you can see, guys, we've got this kind of range here. So again, not looking for any opportunities yet, sitting on my hands, being patient, completely fine with what is being presented, right? We're still continuing to push down with wicks, and we're not showing any momentum down. So let's continue. Now, again, we just started to range. We're going sideways. Again, we're trying to push down. Again, you can see that we're just trying to push down in this manner. You can see that, yes, we're still in this kind of descending manner, but there's not much momentum down, is there? We've not seen any candles come and dominate downwards. We have not seen any moves like this. We've not seen any moves like this. So to me, we're waiting for a move potentially to go to the upside, but it doesn't have to do that. If we see more commitment down, I'm more happy to take an order down, but we are not seeing any clear signs of commitment yet. Okay, we've got a very volatile wick here at 1 o'clock. That's probably news. Right, and now we start to push up with a little bit of momentum, which is quite nice to see. And now we've produced a wick. So again, nothing. With this wick, we have pushed up. So again, what we can see here is, guys, we had this downward move. We've pushed up, formed a wick. So what we're likely to happen is we probably will push back down and start to range. That is the most likely thing to happen according to this wick and previous price action. But again, it doesn't have to do that. But let's see what happens. Right, so we've started to push a bit back down. We see we had the weekend. Now the weekend started to push up, push down. Again, we're still seeing this range. And we started to push up again out of it, formed a wick. And guess even from that wick, we're probably going to come push back down. So let's see if we did. Oh, yeah, we pushed back down with that candle. Going to get rid of this. It's a bit more clearer. You can see we're going sideways again. So again, nothing. We can see essentially we've moved in this kind of descending correction and moved up into an ascending correction. So like this kind of movement into this essentially tells me we are range bound. So there's nothing in here that I want to get involved in. I'm sure you guys can see that even with this kind of action, to be honest, it's all pretty choppy. Like we can see here, it's pretty choppy. We can see that we've got a bunch of pin bars, a bunch of Maribozu side by side here and here, and we've got essentially like spinning tops, so nothing doing whatsoever at all. So let's continue. Again, starting to range. We have ranged for quite a while, seeing some commitment down, but again, we've formed some double wicks. Again, look, guys, if I show you even for the guys that like support and resistance levels, you can see we've got this kind of level here. I'm just going to make that a bit bigger. You can see, guys, we tapped into it with double wicks, and what does that tell me? That tells me we've pushed down twice. So you know that double wicks are a strong confluence of a reversal on this pair. So to me, we're going to pull back up and again, just start to range. This is probably what is most likely to happen. So let's see what happens next. Again, push back up like we anticipated, and we're probably going to range, and we have pushed up again, double wicks. So again, look, double wicks to the upside, double wicks to the downside, double wicks to the downside, double wicks upside. What are we likely to do? Still push back down and range. So guys, you can see so far with this pair, we've not had any nice opportunities. We're still minus 1% down for the month on this pair. Absolutely fine. But again, this is a pair you want to be patient and wait for the very, very nice opportunities, okay? Right, we had strong push up, but again, formed a large wick. So likely to come back down, and we have, again, not seeing any commitment, nothing whatsoever. And guys, this is a good tip, you know, if you are just pure price action readers, see where choppy price action is, guys. You can see, for example, here, we can see, guys, just spinning tops, just dojis, right? Again, here. What is this telling us? Price is not going to go where. And again, if we've got double wicks down here, we've got double wicks up here. Again, price is just telling us that most likely what's going to happen is going to range, right? This is what's going to happen. So, and that is what we started to do up here. So, you know, this is kind of indications to help you guys understand what's going to happen next. But again, nothing I want to get involved in. We're not seeing any strong moves. So let's continue. Again, had a long wick to the upside, started to push down with some really nice momentum. Right, so for me, let's see if we're looking for any opportunities here. And the reason being is because what I'm seeing, guys, is essentially we've got this nice channel coming up here, and we can see, guys, at the top we can see that we really tried to push up at this high, and we had wicks and we pushed down. We started to see a lot of nice commitment down. So for me, that's a nice indication on this pair, and I will be looking for opportunities to go short, but it depends what happens next, because we had the momentum. So let's see what happens next. Right, okay, so for me, just like earlier, as we had this kind of flag here, I am looking to get involved in a position right now here. Now, the thing is, this is 9 p.m. UK time, so I don't trade between 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. UK time, so this would, because of spread hours. So I'm not looking to enter just yet, but I would have entered a position here if it wasn't spread hours. So I'm gonna wait till past the 10 p.m. candle. So let's see what happens next. Right, so we had that candles 10 p.m. and I guess we would have entered in a slightly better position. So for me, this fits my plan. And essentially, guys, for those guys that are wondering why this fits my plan with support and resistance zones, I can see we have a zone here, right? And to me, the way that we ascended here and we started to, so for me, if I draw this out, we ascended here, and to me, this little bit of price action here, where with this double wicks and strong push down, that tells me, okay, now we're more likely to go down, okay? And the reason being is because price is being exhausted around this region here. We can see we're trying to push up, right? But we are really running out of steam, especially with those double wicks. So let me take this out and let's see what would happen once I've entered a position here. So we would have entered in a slightly better position here, right around there. Again, I use 120 pips, sorry, 12 pips, not 120 pips. I use a 12 pip stop loss for this pair. So let's see what's going to happen next. And remember, it was a market execution order, so we would be in straight away. Right, we are starting to range around completely fine. And great, okay, so we have broken essentially a low here. We've broken a low here, right? So for me, this would we would be reducing the risk to about this level here. So that's basically in and around, let's say it's basically 0.5% risk. So again, this would be a full 1% risk, we reduce to 0.5%, which is completely fine. So let's continue and see what happens. So again, like we anticipated, we saw this kind of ascending channel. Now I'm anticipating a move down. So let's continue and see what happens, guys. Right, some really nice momentum down. That is exactly what I want to see. Really, really nice move. So this is looking good. And again, for me, even though currently would be running at around 3.6%, I'm not locking in any profit because this is one continuous move down and we've not had an opportunity to put or move our stops because I use a trailing stop loss to manage with the trend. So let's continue. Right, we've had a counter trend move here, so we're gonna break a low. Okay, we start to range about and we've broken the low. Great, so currently in this position, I would be locking in about 2.78%. And that is because, of course, we have essentially a trailing stop loss here. So, and you can see, guys, we've got this kind of move down, up, down, up, down. So again, I'm managing essentially with the kind of highs. So again, we've locked in 2.78% here. Absolutely great. Let's continue and see what happens. Okay, we'd be locking in a bit more profit here. So I'd be locking in at around this level here. So 4.01% locked in. and it would have been taken out just at this candle here, right? So absolutely fantastic. So I'm completely happy with that trade. We've basically taken a flag continuation. It was a really nice one. We took 4.01%, so absolutely fantastic. Right guys, so back to it. So currently, as so far is the 20th of January, we are up 3.01%. So let's continue and see what happens. Right, we have pushed up with really nice momentum here. I am going to be looking at a position. Let's see where I'd be looking at. Somewhere around here, right? So I would actually be entering a position here. Again, I don't have a bias on the market. It can be long or short. It depends what's happening. Now, like we saw up here, we can see price was being exhausted to the upside, right? We can see the wicks here. We can see the wicks here. And again, same thing's happening down here. We saw a wick here, saw the wick here, saw the wicks here. We can see that we're kind of like, this gradient is declining. You see the gradient of this versus the gradient of this, right? So for me, I would be placing an order right around this level here. So let's see if we get tagged in to a trade here. To me, this is very, very high probability. Let's see what happens. Right, I think we just got tagged. Yeah, we just got tagged into this position here. Let's see what happens. Right, we have broken the high here, so we would have reduced our risk massively. So for me, again, like I say, trading stop loss is one of the best kind of ways to manage a trade. You can absolutely minimize your risk if you're able to read the charts like I do. So, you know, my risk would be down here. So near enough, basically break even. I would probably say around 0.1 to 0.15% of risk on the table. Absolutely fine. Let's continue and see what happens next. Right, so we'd have been taken out there. So for me, this would have been literally 2 out of 12. So I'm just going to quickly calculate that. Right, so essentially this would have been a 0.16% loss. That's absolutely fine. Again, what did I do? I basically put myself in the best possible position and we got taken out for a reduced risk loss. This was a really high probability trade for me. So again, that is absolutely fine. I'll happily take that all day long. Right, let's continue. Currently, we are 2.85% up for the month, and it looks like based on this price action here, because we didn't see that continuation of momentum up, we are likely to range. We can see that. We can see the wicks to the downside here, wicks to the upside here. We can see that we are in this kind of range, especially with this price action here. So I'm anticipating more of a range, especially because we didn't see the commitment to the upside. So again, let's continue to see what happens. Right, we've got a nice bit of push up. Again, double wicks. Let's see what happens. Pushing up, pushing down. Again, when we have a push up like this and then push down like that, we're seeing this kind of V, right? So for me, that either tells me we're going to range a bit more or we're going to push in the direction of this second kind of leg. So for me, again, just sitting on my hands, still anticipating a bit more of a range before we see a commitment for me down. But again, it could go up. But again, purely based on price action, I'm just sitting on my hands and waiting and seeing what price could tell me. Right, we've pushed down. And I wouldn't be looking for anything just yet. We are seeing this nice push down. We're seeing a wick here. So again, nothing taking my fancy. You can see we've pushed up, pushed down. Again, guys, what can you see here? Look, we've got double wick here, and a double wick to the upside. What does that tell me? More likely to range. So again, sitting on my hands, waiting. Nothing here. There's nothing part of this price action that has told me where to go. I know even this price action here, let me put in this order here, but since we didn't have any momentum back up, this is telling me, hey, we're just going to sit in a range for a while, and we have started to sit in that range. So for me, sitting on my hands right now, waiting. You can see, guys, we're just starting to range. We're not moving anywhere. As we predicted, look, right? So as you saw, guys, as we said, from these wicks here, these double wicks, and double wicks here, we can already anticipate that this was going to happen, right? So that is where the price action reading comes in, which is really, really handy. We can see we've got this really nice push down. This looks like pretty volatile price action. This is a 1 p.m. candle, probably news. And we've seen this kind of nice push down, formed a long wick. Typically when we see push down and a long wick, we see a push up, but it doesn't have to do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, we started to range in this area, broken. Again, we've broken a low here and formed quite a bit of wicks. Again, I'm not seeing much commitment down. So sitting on my hands and waiting. started to range quite significantly here. And again, what we can see here is we're still kind of, look at the gradient here, look at the gradient here. So we saw we've got a range here, and then we've got a steep gradient here with this kind of impulsive move down, right? And then this gradient has started to slow down essentially. So for us, we're seeing quite a bit of weakness. We're seeing the wicks, quite a bit of wicks to the downside. So for me, again, sitting on my hands, being patient, waiting for opportunities. We are still continuing to push lower, but not with great amounts of momentum. Still ranging, so seeing nothing whatsoever. Again, we're still, like, to me, like, this is very, very corrective. You can see this, like, this to me, there's no candles in particular in this kind of region that's telling me to enter. Again, guys, look, choppy price action, right? Choppy, 100% choppy. Again, here, choppy, not telling me, hey, this is where you want to go in, because momentum may have shifted to going long or short. So for me, nothing happening just yet. Right, start to push up. Again, formed a wick. The way, again, look, we formed a wick here. With 2 wicks up here, and we try to push down, we push back up in the same way. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we have this move here and push back up like that, just how we saw earlier on in this video. So let's continue to see what happens. Right, we've pushed down again, formed wicks. Again, absolutely nothing, still within this kind of zigzaggy corrective move down. So nothing going. Again, push up, push down. Coming up towards the end of January, we can see we started to range, and we are starting to see this kind of move up. But again, guys, as you can see, look at this. Just guys, you pause this video and have a look. Like, you can clearly see the candles. We've got a couple Maribozu side by side here, right, guys? We can also see we've got dojis and spinning tops, and essentially same here. Look, dojis and spinning tops here, essentially telling us we're not going to go anywhere. We're starting to range, even though we are pushing up. It's telling us we're not pushing up with a lot of momentum. So it's either going to range or push up more in this kind of corrective way. So let's see what happens. So we started to range again, and started to have this really nice push up. But again, not looking for anything just yet, because we are on this move upwards, so no great entry points yet. And there you have it. We have essentially come to the end of Jan. So there you have it, guys. So essentially you could see, like, in this a month, I have taken 3 trades, 2 wins and, no, sorry, 1 win and 2 losses. So I had 1 full 1% loss. I had 1 reduced risk loss for minus 0.16%, and I had 1 win of 4%. So again, for this pair on this month, my profit would have been up 2.85%. So guys, there you have it, guys. I hope you could see that with this pair relative to the price action I did with NJ, we have to be a little bit more patient. For me, I have to be a lot more patient, because euro dollar doesn't like to, it moves it in very, very different styles. It has its times of correction, it has its times of impulses, times of trends, but it's not very dominant in one of these phases. So for me, I like to be very, very patient, sit on my hands and wait for opportunities, a lot more on euro pairs versus Aussie and New Zealand pairs. And that's just my kind of style of trading. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed this backtesting video. Again, if you guys had any comments about this video, please write it down in the comment section below. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. This channel is bringing you pure value to help you guys become the best traders in the world. If you haven't realized all that already, because my subscribers are so far going to be the best traders in the world, because they've found my channel and they are essentially watching great content where I talk about psychology, where I talk about reading price action like this without any indicators. Indicators are not really necessary. And remember, guys, indicators, as you would have known, they're leading and lagging, right? And you can use them as a confluence, but again, they're derived from what? From these candlesticks themselves. They're derived from price. So if we're able to learn how the candlesticks like to move, then you're going to be a very, very powerful trader. But even if you don't and you like to use your indicators, absolutely fine. But then again, psychology information and the videos I provide you guys with psychology is very, very important. So guys, please check that out. I'm going to leave this video here. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. But like I said before, if you had any comments, please write it down in the comments section below. But for now, have a great trading week. Take care and peace.
Oh.